Here's the whole story version. Through the flames. A family's fight for tomorrow. The soft flicker of a kerosene lamp illuminated the dim mud brick room, casting trembling shadows on the walls. Mama sat on a straw mat, her fingers weaving delicate braids into Nyambura's hair. Her hands shook, not from exhaustion, but from the weight of unspoken fears. Akinyi leaned against the doorway, her silhouette framed by the silver glow of moonlight. She gazed at the vast darkness beyond, her mind replaying the chaos that had upended their lives. Kariuki sat cross-legged nearby, gripping his soccer ball tightly, his young face etched with anger and confusion. Akinyi's voice, calm but laced with sorrow, broke the silence. In Kenya, we've learned to live with struggle. But that week, the struggle turned into a storm. It started with fire, not the kind that cooks your meal or warms your home, but the kind that devours your dreams. The room seemed to breathe in her words, as if the walls themselves shared their pain. The sun rose over the village, bathing the earth in golden light. Mama's shop buzzed with life, a hub of chatter and cheer. Goats bleated in the distance, children played tag in the dusty streets, and the rhythmic pounding of maize at the communal grinder filled the air. Inside the shop, brightly colored kitenge fabrics swayed with the breeze, vibrant against the earthy walls. Mama stood behind the counter, her warm laugh punctuating the air as she haggled with a customer. "Kariuki!" she called, shaking her head as her youngest son darted between shelves, expertly kicking his soccer ball past sacks of maize flour and sugar. "One day, you'll bring this whole shop crashing down." Outside, Akinyi crouched near the shop's walls, carefully painting a mural of baobab trees and Maasai warriors. Her hands moved with precision, her mind alive with dreams of university and a brighter future. Nyambura sat beside her, giggling as she smeared paint on her hands and pressed them onto the wall, leaving tiny imprints of innocence. Though the scene was lively, shadows loomed. The government's new taxes had begun to suffocate the community, making essentials like maize flour and paraffin luxuries. Mama hid her growing worry behind a steadfast smile, but the strain was evident in her hollowed cheeks and skipped meals. Whispers of unrest spread like wildfire. News of another impending tax hike reached the village, and tension simmered. Under the sprawling baobab tree, the elders gathered, their voices heavy with anger and concern. Mama hesitated at the edge of the gathering, clutching her hands tightly. She knew the risks of standing up, but the weight of her family's future pressed heavily on her heart. Uncle Kamau, his voice steady and firm, addressed the group. "If we don't stand up now, there will be nothing left to stand for. They are robbing us of our dignity piece by piece." Akinyi stood in the background, her fists clenched. She felt the enormity of their struggle bearing down on her. Her dreams, Kariuki's soccer aspirations, and Nyambura's laughter all hung in a fragile balance. The march was a tapestry of hope and defiance. Women wrapped in colorful lesos carried babies on their backs. Young men led chants of "Haki yetu," our rights, and elders leaned on walking sticks, their determination unwavering. For a brief moment, unity surged through the crowd. Akinyi held Kariuki's hand tightly as she marched beside Mama. It felt as though the whole village moved with one heartbeat, their voices demanding justice. Then came the chaos. Tear gas canisters hissed as they flew into the crowd, exploding with clouds of choking smoke. Panic erupted as riot police charged with batons raised. Screams tore through the air as people scattered in every direction. Akinyi's chest burned as she pulled Kariuki and Nyambura into a narrow alley. Her arms shielded her younger siblings while her eyes darted, searching for Mama. "Mama, stay close," she cried. In the distance, Uncle Kamau's cries rang out as officers dragged him away. That night, a different kind of terror struck. Akinyi woke to frantic shouts and the acrid smell of smoke. Rushing outside, her heart sank as she saw flames engulfing Mama's shop. "Mama! Kariuki! Wake up!" she screamed, pulling her family into the night. They stood helpless as the fire roared, reducing years of Mama's hard work to ashes. Mama sank to her knees, her cries piercing the stillness of the night. "Mungu wangu, my God, everything is gone," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Kariuki clutched his soccer ball tightly, his voice trembling. "Why would they do this to us, Akinyi?" She hugged him fiercely, her own tears mixing with the smoke. "I don't know, Kariuki, but we will survive this. We have to." The next morning, despair turned to resolve. Akinyi returned to the protests, climbing onto an overturned crate in the village square. Her voice shook at first, but as she spoke, it grew stronger. "They burn our shops, but they cannot burn our hope. They tear gas our streets, but they cannot silence us. We are Kenya, and we will rise." Her words rippled through the crowd, sparking a fire of determination. Someone recorded her speech and shared it online. By nightfall, her voice was heard across Kenya. Courage came with a price. That night, the police stormed their home, dragging Akinyi away under accusations of inciting violence. Mama's pleas fell on deaf ears as she watched her daughter disappear into the darkness. In the holding cell, Akinyi listened to stories of others who had lost everything, farmers displaced, mothers mourning their children. Their pain fueled her resolve. After her release, Akinyi returned home to find the community rallying around her family. Neighbors rebuilt their shop stone by stone. Mama started selling vegetables, her spirit unbroken. Kariuki, inspired by his sister's determination, began playing soccer again, his ball bouncing across the dusty field as Nyambura's laughter filled the air. Years later, Akinyi stood beneath the baobab tree, addressing a crowd. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of gold as her voice rang out. "They tried to silence us, but we are still here. Through the flames we found strength. Through the pain, we found each other. And through it all, we rise." Her words echoed across the crowd, a testament to their resilience. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, the village stood united, proof that no fire could extinguish their hope. Through the Flames, A Family's Fight for Tomorrow, is a story of devastation and rebirth, of a family's unyielding spirit, and of a community that proves the power of hope and unity in the face of unimaginable loss.